Good morning, guys. Hey, it's Friday morning. Morning, bud.
Morning.
December 4th, and I would love to just kind of get into it. And I know there's probably a lot of folks out there who you're going through quite a journey yourself. Maybe you're 400, 500, 600 pounds. And so actually we've been receiving quite a few questions, and I would just kind of like to dive into just the emotional journey side of things. So we got an email. This is just one of many that I pulled out of the stack, and from a gentleman who's 22 years old, living in Houston, Texas, and he's probably a little over 600 pounds right now. He says he's not 100% sure. Saw the show the other day, and he's had a background very, very similar to yours. He was 360 pounds when he was 10 years old, and also had a gallbladder attack in the hospital. They told him that he needed to lose the weight, but he just didn't have any support from his family or from his community. So he was always picked on in school for being big, and he found himself in football for a while, but ended up leaving just because he was slower and overweight, and so like a lot of people ended up picking on him. He was admitted to the hospital in 2004 in Houston, and diagnosed with morbid obesity and congestive heart failure, and he weighed in at 630 pounds at the time. So that's, I'm sure, kind of hits home with you. He was in the hospital for a little over a month, lost a decent amount of weight, kept it off, managed to lose another 50 on top of another 120 pounds. But sure enough, he fell back into people laughing at him, picking on him, so he started eating again. Now in 2009, he's come to the conclusion, and he's realized the severe addiction to food that he has, and he constantly eats to feel better, because either he's bored or people are laughing at him. Says he can't go to the store with his sister simply because he doesn't want to go out and be around people, because they're just so cruel, they're so mean.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know a lot of that hits home. I know when I first met you, you were in the same position. You had made a committed decision to change, and maybe you could kind of talk him through what that entailed, like some of the struggles you went through, because there was an addiction to food, there still is. Remember, like, there's a saying, like, once an addict, always an addict. And so it just doesn't go away, but you learn to live with it, you learn to cope with it, and you find other priorities that are so much sweeter and so much better in life. What's a few things that we might be able to share with them?
Like you said, just know that he does have an eating problem, and to realize that those minutes that he's getting of satisfaction from eating doesn't outweigh the happiness you can feel without it in the long run.
Like going back to knowing where you were then, at 650 pounds, and where you are now. You could have continued to chase that carrot and gotten high off your food every 30 minutes to an hour and just keep feeding the addiction. What feels better?
Obviously, how I'm living right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just, a false sense of happiness. It's not real. It's basically all in your head.
It's chemical happiness.
It's chemical happiness, and it lasts, 5 to 15 minutes during and after. Then after that, you feel like crap for the rest of the day. And it's definitely not worth it. And I came to the understanding that there's more out of life than 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's a blog that I think we just put it out. It's Flavor or Feel, and if not, it's going to be coming out in a day or two. And I wrote this one from the heart, just having worked with you and a few other folks who are going through the same kind of journey. And it really is about that instant chemical satisfaction, and like you said, it lasts 10 to 15 minutes, and then it's gone, and then immediately following comes the feelings of defeat, the feelings that you let yourself down, of you're disgusted with yourself, you failed again, and it feeds upon itself. And this is something, it's a pattern that I've observed time and time again. You've observed it. We've felt it.
I felt it.
And that's the flavor addiction, and that's the one thing. It's like that constant care. It is the ultimate drug addiction, and it's difficult because, I mean, what are we supposed to do? We're surrounded by food every day. We have to eat, and of course we do have our food options. We've got our healthy foods, and we've got, of course, our junk foods. But regardless, we are surrounded by them all day, every day, and it's so difficult. I mean, imagine if it's kind of like a heroin addiction. If we were surrounded, you go to the convenience store, and it's all the different kinds of heroin that you could possibly get. For someone who's got such a severe addiction and craving for that, it can be a very difficult thing. And so, it seems to me, and especially when I first started meeting with you, that turning point was this. It was this moment, and it's the funniest thing. I've covered it in our blogs way back when, but it's the darndest thing, because it happens in a split second when instantly you make this committed decision and your life changes, the perception of yourself changes, and you immediately realize your priorities in life. And I don't know, this is something that you have done. You are so good at writing everything down on paper, but Larry, this is for you. If you wouldn't mind, writing down your certain future, if you continue on the path that you're on right now. Write down several things about what if you don't change. I want you to create a list and send it to us. And then I want you to go ahead and make a list of what if you do change. What if you decide that the energy, being healthy and happy and changing your life, and actively being proactive in creating a better life for yourself, I want you to make a list of what that's going to be like. And I want you to make a list of what your future will be like if you make that change. Remember, bro, you're 22 years old, and if you make this change, and I'm not going to say if you make the change, but when you make the change, and it will happen in an instant, your life will change so drastically, and the way that you feel about yourself, it will be so profound. Think about, you're 22 years old. You have a long, long life ahead of you. Think about the other lives that you can impact. And trust me, keep in touch with us. I want to hear about this journey that you're on. I want to hear about the committed decision that you've made and what's happening on that journey. And I want to turn around and I want to share it with the thousands of people, tens of thousands of people who are following along. And if you would help us make an impact in their life as well, and share with us your journey, and share with us the obstacles. Bro, real life is going to happen. You're going to be down on yourself. Yes, there are going to be other people that are going to, you walk outside, people might look, they might stare. But I tell you what, how was that for you? Because, you overcame that. It didn't even matter to you after that, because this is your journey, not theirs.
Exactly, that's what I had to do. I had really bad social anxiety. I didn't leave the house 12 times over the span of a year. And, I felt really bad about it, and I had people laughing at me every time I stepped outside my door. But after a while, you don't give a care. You just go out there and do what you need to do. And after a few months, people just stopped noticing that I was a bigger guy, but I was a normal looking guy because I dropped 200 pounds.
And especially, as crazy as it sounds, there is an opportunity here in life for you to live an extraordinary life, to do something phenomenal. And I want to hear about your success. I just want to hear about the change, and I want to hear about your journey along the way. Because I tell you what, they won't laugh very long. If you talk about the attention that David has gotten, just from a few years back, it was people staring in awe at like how large he was.
Taking pictures. Laughing out loud.
They ain't laughing now.
Now they see me as a,
as a role model.
As a role model, and yeah.
And you know what? And you are, and that's the way it should be. So, bro, hang in there. And all the other people who are out there on the journey, what an incredible opportunity to make such a difference in not just your life, but in the lives around you. Share your journey with us, and we will help you inspire others. So, guys, go have a wonderful weekend.